Give me a second for my Instagram. All right, welcome everybody. This is After Hours. This is the first time I've done this with some other folks. So we're actually doing an interview with Sugey, Cruz, Chris Rupert, and Greg Poppa about their interview. We're going to talk about their movie Cold. But before we get started, I just want to talk quickly about an anecdote that happened. I know you were kind of doing all these promos and everything else, and I was kind of excited to have somebody on. So I messaged you, and how I kind of discovered you was I did a whole thing where I was trying to find local artists and find people in the film industry. I joined the Facebook groups. You guys came up. So I started following you. So then when I asked you, I was excited about it, nervous. And then the day of, I'm thinking, I messaged you. I didn't hear back. So I told my wife, I'm like, yeah, I think it's fine. I think I'm ghosted. That's fine. And then I kind of was like, just acceptance, right? And then literally 20 seconds after I said it, you're like, hey, I got 3%. You're my last message, blah, blah, blah. So like it just kind of bounced up. So I was excited about it. Without further ado, I'd just like to have you guys introduce yourselves, and then we'll kind of jump into some questions. But I thought that was funny because you had me, again, I'm thinking, this is my first one. Maybe she saw something that ticked her off because I do try to push buttons. I try to push the envelope in my other show, but this is not that. So welcome to all of you. Is Greg, is he back?
I think he's still getting back from his car, but yeah, he should be back soon.
Okay.
Yeah, so we actually have a twofer today. So you got us talking about two movies because the premiere is going to be for Cold and Transient. So we're actually
clearing that up.
Yes. So Chris Rupert is talking about. So I produced two films starting in fall of 2021. I started working on a sci-fi feature film called Transient, which is the one that Chris wrote. We've all worked.
I am a sci-fi junkie, so and I'm allowed to say, I asked several people, I'm a movie aficionado, so let's go.
Yeah. So this is a very I guess, is incestuous the right word? I guess it's a very incestuous sort of relationship because it's so basically I produced both films, but Chris wrote and directed Transient. He edited both films. I was an actress in both. Greg was the lead in Transient.
How did you guys meet? Like, did you just like working together, or just? I mean,
I don't know that he likes working with me, but I'm sort of a necessary evil at this point. I guess. No, I'm just kidding. Do you like working with me, Chris?
Well, how did you meet though? Like, how was that your first encounter on the Transient?
No. No, we met. We did the VidJam of. I would do the VidJam of Horror, which is a thing in Harrisburg, which is a really cool event, especially if you're like a newer filmmaker. It's a great place to meet people, and what they do is you sign up for the VidJam of Horror, but it's a 12-day, I think it's 12 days. You have to write, film, direct, and produce something. But you go and they
kind of like a hackathon in my world.
Yeah. Okay. They give you a prop, and so then you have to write around this prop, so you can't do anything in advance. But it's a fun exercise, and then it screens at the Midtown Theater. So I did that for a few years, and then at one point we had a short, and Sugey was in a short with another guy, Austin, and I was just making a lot of shorts back then. So then I asked Sugey and Austin if they'd want to be in one of mine, and then from then on we've all worked together.
Very cool. So I'm always amazed at the I kind of started my stuff down in Philly. I come back to Lancaster. I was amazed that there's kind of this culture around here and these film folks, sound folks. Talk to me a little bit about Lancaster and kind of just the area and how that's been kind of what's going on. I mean, I'm totally curious.
I mean, a lot of times here, it does focus a lot on commercial stuff. We want to do more narrative films. So that's where we gravitate more towards. In fact, even when we do more commercial,
is that lacking
commercials
around here? Like, are you guys kind of pioneering that? Are you saying there's not much storytelling kind of filmmaking?
I think people want to do more storytelling. I think though that generally though, because of where money is, obviously, people obviously gravitate more towards doing commercial work. So where did everybody go?
Oh, I'm here with you, Sugey.
Oh, okay.
I tried something.
Everyone disappeared. I got
I thought it'd be
paranoid for a second.
and
I
you'd
just
be like,
saw my face and I was like, no. I got separation anxiety for a second.
we're here.
So, but yeah, I think that then even when though we do commercial work, so if you do look at commercials that we do, so there's something that I did for, say, Food Bank of America, or work that I've done, say, with like Almond Films, you would see that there is a much more narrative sort of feel to it. So that I gravitate a lot more towards that kind of feel in the work that I do, even commercially. That's just my preference. But in the area, that is something that generally is more of a thing. But I think generally in this area, that is more of a thing that people do. We generally prefer to do more narrative work.
Yeah.
By the way,
money in corporate work, so that's why.
Exactly.
There's a lot of really talented video production people in the Lancaster area. But I think Lancaster is a pretty decent art hub as well. Yeah. I'm from Lancaster. I don't live there anymore. I live more near Philly now. But there's still there's so many cool things going on in the Lancaster and Harrisburg.
So
area.
you guys would you consider yourself more like Philly based? I mean, I honestly I'm a software person, and that's why I know that's where I grew up, and that's where I know my people. And so I'm not really a Lancaster tech person. I hate to say, you know what I mean? So is that kind of how you guys are as well? Kind of rooted in Philly, or are you kind of spread all over?
We're spread more all over, I guess, at this point. I live in Lancaster, but I kind of go wherever the wind blows.
It's weird. Like Sugey comes up this way for work, and I go down to Lancaster for work a lot of times.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm old enough to remember when Lancaster only had a couple bars, and Hildy's was where I went for my 21st birthday, and that was a big deal, right? And I remember I had to buy dark beer because I didn't want to know what was in the tube that was coming out. But I also, during that time, watched Lancaster kind of go from not only the pub scene and everything else, but there's a lot of art stuff going on. And I was curious how that's developing in the film side of it. It's easy to talk about the First Friday stuff, and I don't know where you fall in that mix. But that's kind of where you guys are kind of the first folks that I'd like to talk to that are doing things from this town that are artsy, but I don't know much about, to be honest with you.
I feel like you are being completely ignorant to the fact that in the 80s, Harrison Ford made a movie called Witness in Lancaster County. How dare you, sir? How dare you sit there and say
I do know about that. And I mean, but that was it. That's the only thing, right? I mean,
Amish Mafia came in and did a reality show that set the world ablaze. I think that's what it was called.
Am I really being naive? Is that our claim to fame, Witness? That's it? That's
no.
The thing?
Yeah, no, it probably definitely is. Isn't Travis Kelce from Lancaster or something like that? Isn't that one?
No, Taylor Kinney is.
Taylor Kinney. Travis Kelce. Jesus Christ. Yeah. Taylor Kinney. That's what.
Yeah, I don't even watch football, I'll be honest with you. Yeah. I didn't even know it was. I know more about Taylor Swift than I do know about football. So.
And actually, Kristen Wiig.
She's from Berks, right?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm not. Look, I'm not downing. What I'm saying is the movement, the zeitgeist.
Groff. I did work with Jonathan Groff.
Oh, really?
I did. Yeah, I got to meet him. I got to do. Let me make sure I turn my email off. Sorry.
That might have been me.
No, that was definitely mine.
Okay.
I do have news that Chris doesn't even know. I have news.
We won.
Is this breaking news?
We did win some awards.
Okay, what did we win?
I will say in a second. But
okay.
I did. But yeah, Jonathan Groff, I got to work with him on Knock at the Cabin, which is obviously that's more Philly, but obviously we have M. Night Shyamalan, so that's a more Philly-based, claim to fame.
Interesting.
Sugey, Greg, and I are all lead actors in that movie.
I don't know that we can call it lead actor.
We are in that movie for about 4 seconds.
The back of our heads. The back of our heads are in an M. Night Shyamalan movie. Yes.
A Knock at the Cabin.
Knock at the Cabin.
Really?
I got to do production design and produce a scene that's in Knock at the Cabin. Yes.
That's a big deal.
Which is a big deal.
Head? I mean, your back of the head has an agent,
right?
I
can send you the YouTube clip that we're in.
I must.
But yeah, Jonathan Groff is lovely. So is Rupert Grant, although he's not from Lancaster, but he got to come up here for a day and take pictures with people. So he was nice.
I mean, Lancaster's on the map with Lidditz and Rock Lidditz, obviously, big time.
Yeah,
on the big. I remember when I went to see Elton John, he's thanking Claire Brothers like they were his friends.
But yeah, let me grab my cell phone so I can tell Chris. Oops, crap. I am making a mess here. But
no, you're fine.
We were in a film festival this evening in Georgia, and we won some awards.
Oh, wow.
So this is hot off the press.
Hot off the press. I don't have it. Do I have any sound effects?
Oh, yeah.
The Transient won its first awards. We won for Best Domestic Feature. We won for Best Leading Actor for Greg Poppa. Best Leading Actress for me, although I don't know that I'm a lead actor.
Sorry.
Best Supporting Actor for Eric. Best Supporting Actress for Alicia. Best Director for Chris Rupert. Best Writing for Chris Rupert. Best Editing for Chris Rupert. And Best Cinematography for, I guess, the team. So
the only movie in the film festival.
No, there were 60 movies.
Oh, okay.
Cleaned house. So,
wow! Congratulations, that's awesome.
So we won 9 awards. So
wow.
Yeah.
So how many have you submitted it to? How do you go about submitting to festivals and everything else like that? Talk to me about that. What is
do you
it
want Sugey to talk about that in a positive way, or do you want me to talk about it?
However, share what talk to me like I'm
right.
5. I know.
I'll say this. Film festivals are you betting on your hopes and dreams. So you spend $60 and you put your movie out there and you receive nothing back except for a rejection 99 out of 100 times.
So, and they use your $60 to fund the whole festival, right?
Pretty much. And it's just, there's so many festivals, and I think filmmakers tend to downplay a lot of them, but I think there's a lot of value in the smaller festivals that not me, I haven't been to many as much. I went to Sugey goes to a lot more, but you start to network and meet a lot of people. But there's 5 to 10 really big festivals that every filmmaker dreams to get into, Sundance and stuff like that. And you really have very, I think, little chance a lot of times of getting in those. But you got to try. So we submitted only to a handful, I think. Sugey, you can speak more about
I think that network thing that you just said is big, though, right? Sugey, going there and just networking and then kind of getting in the round people, right?
Yeah. So there's different ones, and it's just I've been trying to explain to people the different approaches and understanding the different reasons to do different ones. So there's obviously the big ones, so the Sundances and the Toronto International and obviously Tribeca and all that kind of stuff. Those are the biggies. The reality of that is that you're only going to get in if you either have big star names or if you know the program managers, you have that kind of stuff. And
or
so,
maybe you have some,
or you have
that,
right, you have something that's the big hot topic right now that everybody wants to hear about. You know what I mean? And so it's not likely. You know what I mean? It's it's really hard to get into those.
It's a lottery, luck, and opportunity meets
exactly.
a chance.
Sometimes you get like if you like you can get lucky is if you are part of their programming. So like if you take like a class with them and like that's like a weigh-in. So like if you do one of their programs and like you're one of their students and like therefore like you're like you do a short
Automatically get put into the
and
can.
then like like that's like a weigh-in kind of.
Nice.
So, like that's like another or you go in and then like you pay publicists to like kind of network through and then like the next year you go in. So like there's that kind of networky kind of stuff that so like there's a lot of like kind of butt kissy stuff that
pay to play kind of thing.
Pay to play. Yeah, exactly. And then there's like so that's like first tier. Then there's like sort of like another like level where there's your in-home stuff, like the stuff around you. Like so I just went to like the Westchester Film Festival. It was actually really lovely. They're like in their 18th year. I just messaged them and I was like, hey, I'm a local filmmaker. I have like a premiere coming up. I never really even heard of your festival before. I just wanted to know, is there like anything that's going on that I could be a part of? And they were like, hey, we need moderators. Do you just want to come moderate for us for a night? And I was like, sure. And they gave me like a free pass for the entire weekend. So like, you know, so like I got to meet programmers. I got to meet the person that like was giving a talk on distribution and stuff. So like, I was like, oh, like this is really cool. Like, and so like now I know for next year. And then I got to meet the person who helps program their festival for next year.
It sounds like she's the networker.
Sugey? Yeah. People like Sugey. People don't like me. I don't know what it is.
I'm in your boat. People don't like me either.
Yeah, everybody knows Sugey, and it's great to be connected with Sugey.
Sugey, one day you posted something on your feed right after I asked you to do it, and you said something like, you know, you find out everybody knows somebody, and then you find out that person's a jerk. And I'm like thinking, literally, I was like, you know what? There's a lot of people who don't like me. And so maybe someone just snuck in here and said, yo, dude, Nate's kind of cool, but he's kind of jerk and asshole. So anyway,
no.
I was all kinds of paranoia going on up here. But anyway, so
no, that your locals are like a good way for you to like you go to those and you get to meet people. Like that's how we met actually going to Cold. The girl who played my daughter, we went to First Take Film Festivals for a film that Greg had. Like that was so sad. So when we were doing Transient, he had this film called Foxes that he had done, and his entire team, he had a producer and everything. And their idea of filmmaking was like, they were like, our idea is like filmmaking is we're together, we make a film, and then as soon as the film's done, that's it. We're done. The whole film is just like while we do it, and then that was it. Done. Goodbye. See you later. It's just these 7 days, and then the film's done. Goodbye. And so he has like, I want people to see my film. Like, this is sad. Like, you know, I wanted to get into festivals and stuff. And like his producer just like disappeared on him. And like, he didn't know, like he was a first time filmmaker. So he didn't know what to do. So like, I came on as like a post-production filmmaker to like help him actually get his film seen. So I actually got him into film festivals and stuff, which is like how we got attached to each other. Very and cool. Like started production company and stuff together.
Are you guys all in the company together? Then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean, like Chris and I have just always worked together, basically. But like, you know, I basically, and that's why I said like I'm basically gangrene to him. I think at this point, like I don't know if he likes me or not, but like he just can't get rid of me.
I didn't say anything.
Until he wants to get rid of me, like I guess, like he'll just like tell me he doesn't want me anymore. I guess.
He's quiet over there.
You just cut it off, Sugey.
You just cut it off. Someday he'll just like tell me like.
So talk to me about make it clear the roles. So the roles for all three of you. I know you're all starring in the movie, right? Or just talk me through that.
Yeah. So I am producer, and then I'm in the film for Transient. And then I also was a production. So we wore lots of hats.
Can you tell me like I'm 5 what a producer does? I'm being serious. I'm not saying it because I never understood what it means when someone's like, I'm a producer, and I'm sure that I sound stupid when I ask that, but that's why I'm having
Well, I mean, it depends. Actually, there is a legitimate question to that these days. So like if you go online right now, people will ask you that because it depends on if you go on a campaign right now.
If you give money, you can be a producer.
You could be a producer if you give money. That is not what I do. I actually legitimately bust my ass on a day-to-day basis, like doing like hard labor. Like
those guys are screwing up the definition. So I wasn't the only person that's like
those guys are great. There's what make the movie.
Right.
Those EPs that come in and give the money, but they get the they get that executive producer credits.
you want EPs that give you money, right? So like
what did you guys call it? APs?
EP.
So an executive producer is someone that gives you money to make sure that your movie gets made. That's an executive producer.
Sorry guys, if this is like if your people are like, dude, he doesn't know what an executive producer is.
That's okay.
Go.
So that's an executive producer. An executive producer gives you money. An actual producer is a person like me that is on a day-to-day basis making sure that things are functioning. So that's a person that is like meeting with the director, making sure so when Chris had the concept of Transient, he sent it to me and was like, hey, like this is a script idea that I have. What do you think about it? I read it and I was like, okay, this has some sci-fi elements. I'm not sure, like some of it sounds a little like there might be
do you then give him feedback that he then churns out? Like you take that, Chris, and make edits and stuff like that when she comes back to you like that?
So, I mean, no, I mean, I listen to feedback, but like, it's not Sugey's call on like completely the script direction or anything, but it is something like we consider. But what she's talking about is there was like a lot of pseudoscience, and it was like, should we have somebody who has a more, science-based reality focus?
Sure, like, got it.
Right.
To review it.
So like I connected him to somebody that was like an actual like AI engineer, because like the script has an AI engineer attached. Like that's who the main character is an AI engineer. So I connected him with an AI engineer to like actually like review the script, and then they like kind of talked about it.
That's very cool.
And they gave input. Which
like
is
subject
cool.
matter experts, like domain experts.
Right, exactly. So like, which is cool because they actually kind of predicted something. So like, we actually made a post then about something that Samsung was like 2 years later. Like, there's like actually like text that like Samsung then like predicted afterwards, which was nice.
So this is Transient, right? This is
Transient, yeah. So like we did stuff like that, like we, a producer helps like hire some of the crew, a producer helps like, with like day-to-day stuff.
They're like they basically keep the project running and make sure that it gets to production.
Making sure like budget, all that kind of stuff. And then you have associate producers. So associate producers are things that like on, again, campaign wise. So like in our case, like when
you say campaign wise, you're talking like, what do you mean when you say
capital campaign? So like in our case, like we did like a crowdfunding campaign. So like we set up, obviously we didn't have money of our own. So like we set up crowdfunding. So like one of our categories was like, hey, if you give us money, this is a category that you can have. And so like you can buy yourself a producer credit. And so like that would be.
So you actually like, if someone's like, hey, I want a producer credit and I got dollars, they can just it's good for you because you get money to build your movie. And
I think it's fair exchange. It shows their level of support for the film and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And the movie wouldn't be made without those people. So
is that the same in indie and versus the bigger market? Like, is indie film different than how executive producers roll in versus big budget films and stuff like that?
I think some of it's similar. It's just the crowdfunding element is usually not there on a big movie.
Yeah. Yeah, like for them, like they'll do it like on a bigger set. Like they'll do it like Stars often like I've worked on sets with like, Nicolas Cage and stuff. And what will end up happening is like Nicolas Cage will attach himself to a project and he'll say like, sure, I'll do that movie, but I'll also do it for getting my, like, I want to be producer, quote unquote. And I also want to get a certain number of points and I want my name attached as a producer.
Oh, points are like yield spread premium in the mortgage business. Like they make off the back or whatever. Okay. Yeah. That's amazing to me. I mean, it seems like, is that stuff kind of make it like a barrier to entry for new people? Like to get into it, like try to understand it. Like, how do you know all this stuff? Like, oh, I'm just a creative teen or a creative woman or man, and I just want to make something, but then I got to know all this stuff, or can I just go make film and then just somebody else helps with that stuff?
I mean, it depends on what you're trying to do. I made 20 short films without any money, just with whatever resources I had. So that certainly didn't stop me from being creative in any way. But when we stepped up to try and do a feature, you want to be able to pay people for their time and their efforts and stuff like that. But you don't have any money. And I don't know any rich dentists or anything or have any rich family that will just give me money. Yeah. But it's a way to not deter you from trying to create this project. So it's a ton of work. Like it is an unbelievable amount of work.
Sounds like it. And by the way, I wasn't trying to like in any way minimize like versus big versus small. I just was curious as to like,
no,
it sounds like it's the same. You always have to have money and you always have to have the money right? You almost have to have it before you start the project, which is always tricky, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's where you learn that stuff though. Like you can learn all the creative stuff without money being involved. But once the money gets involved, that's where you have to start learning all these processes. And that's what there's so many steps in filmmaking until you've gone through the whole process of, concept to script to production to post-production to distribution to realizing the mistakes you made and how much money you didn't make off now. But like, you know what I mean? Like there's a whole thing. There's so many different things you have to learn. Cause like I have 7 documentaries, featured documentaries that were out with a distributor.
Wow.
1091 Pictures, and everything was going fantastic. We're making a lot of money off these movies considering their budgets and stuff like that. And then that company got bought by another company and they just stopped paying royalties to filmmakers. And so all of a sudden your movie's still making money, but you're not getting paid for any of it.
How is that possible?
It's not legal.
It's not legal. No.
So they do that. So that's one of the things about being a small person that can happen is the big players can just kind of snuff you out with that. And nobody, wait, that seems really angry. That angers me. I might almost have to go on a rant, but I can't because I promised I wouldn't.
No, but I mean, like every step of the way, every step of the way, though, there's just so many things you pick up and learn. And now after doing it a couple times, I know what the steps are, but now you see the value in like somebody who's just like Sugey's role of being a producer and how much other people can focus on certain aspects too. So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I one thing I'll say just I don't know how you guys are looking at time, but I wanted to ask you more about the movies. But I know that for me, one of the things I'm also amazed at is Sugey is that, building a team is hard and getting people to do things and collaborate is always hard. So it's always been a weakness of mine asking for help and doing things like that in a group. So I think that it's a lot of coordination being a producer, I would imagine. And you're asking for things and getting people to do things on whatever shoestring budget or whatever. And it always seems like, look, I'm in my business, even when you have a lot of money, it's always a shoestring budget because you run up to the thing. It's just, I do project management. It's the same kind of thing where it's ambiguous until you know what you're building. Different, but you know what I mean? So the same kind of anxiety goes into knowing that you're going to use every penny the whole time. Yeah. So tell me, look, I know it's getting late. Is he going to come on? I don't know how much more time you guys got. Can you tell me about the film or anything else you want to talk about or share?
Yeah, we can absolutely tell you about the films. So in terms of, let me say, trying to get you
help me differentiate.
I was going to say, let me tell you a little bit about both films. So in terms of Transient, that one is about a tech entrepreneur who finds himself building a piece of technology after he loses his family after a tragic accident to sort of relive memories about them. I guess is that the fairest way to?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Assess that.
Well, I'm very interested as a software guy. Okay, now I have to see this. Where's my I wasn't consulted. Number one, I'm insulted. Number two, also I want to see it now, so I need to understand what's going on here. But anyway, keep going.
The way I would boil it down, it's a Black Mirror episode of Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. If you combine those two things, so it's kind of dark and a little bit more art housey in its pacing and its style. With some light horror elements and a lot of drama.
And when does it out? When does it come out?
So it should have been out by now, but we ran into a snag in distribution where Apple demanded a 5.1 surround mix, and we didn't have a 5.1 surround mix, so we had to get one done, and so it got delayed. But it's supposed to be out the beginning of this month, but hopefully later this month. We're still up in the air about that because of our.
We do have North American distribution through Synergetic Films, so that should be out soon.
So it's in the queue. It's coming. It's coming, right?
Coming. So we do have North American distribution. That was something that I was going to say. Chris and I successfully negotiated without, which is again. No publicists, no sales agents, none of that stuff. We were able successfully to do that, which is a big deal. I know that might not seem none of those things seem like things that you would not understand, but that's actually a big deal.
No, yeah, I do.
That you need to be able to afford.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we were pretty lucky though, Sugey, too, in that we got a decent amount of offers for the film.
Yeah.
And so we didn't have to just settle for whatever came in. We made some choices. We pushed back on a bunch of them and made, finally.
So people were bidding on the film kind of thing?
Not bidding, but we just received hey, here's an offer. And I would push back. Can you do this?
Yeah.
Or, until, and then there's a lot because you have to look at what kind of films they pick up. What do you think they're going to do with your film? And so we had to make some choices, but luckily we had choices to make.
Yeah,
nice.
Exactly.
Hi,
and
Greg
plays the tech entrepreneur.
I am quite the tech entrepreneur. That's why it was so easy for me to figure out the tech to get into this.
His typing skills
are
all right. Second to none.
I was yelling at him because I'm a tech. I'm actually, this is what I do with my day job, and I wasn't consulted. So of course my ego's hurt. But now that we got you there, nice to have you on.
Hopefully you will be coming May 11th.
I will. I would love to. I need to sign up and buy tickets and all that stuff. I didn't click on it yet because wait, we have 9 people watching this stream. You guys don't understand. That's the most people ever in my life.
It's because people love Transient.
All right.
Yeah. And then I was going to say,
we missed you. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to step on you, Sugey. You want to do an intro? All I saw is an angry face looking at your phone I can't. No, where's my audio? So
yeah, I get very angry. I have a lot of road rage.
No, you're fine. It was
Sugey. Sugey, tell Greg about how I won Best Actor in Transient for the
Doctor. That's right. You got announcements.
Oh yes. So you won Best Actor.
Chris won Best Actor. I didn't even know he was in it. Oh wait,
I'm the Doctor.
Yes, you won Best Actor, and I won Best Actress. Apparently, Eric won Best Supporting, and Kanisha won Best Supporting, and Chris Best Director, and Best Writing, and Best Cinematography for the film.
It's like everything. You won every award.
Yeah, Best Feature. So yeah. They won 9 awards.
We probably should have went to that thing.
How much money?
You guys would have comically been holding 9 awards.
Money when that happens?
Yeah, how much money do we win?
No, not usually.
There's no money, but you guys comically held 9 awards in your hands. They are going to mail me all the awards. So they asked me for my address, so we will get them.
So Greg is the star and also a member of your production or founder of your production company?
Yes. So he and I are co-founders of Roaming Shadow Productions, and he wrote. So this is where we go back to like my previous statement that I was talking about, kind of incestuous, because like in the sense of sorry, Cold. To go back to Cold. So he wrote.
Who's eating?
No, there's no incest.
Sorry, it's me.
In Cold.
There's
No, there is no incest in Cold.
Fine, I understand what you meant. You meant the ancestral relationship of the movies.
The ancestral relationship is in the sense that he wrote and directed Cold. So he was the lead in Transient, but he wrote and directed Cold that I then star in. And then Chris is the editor of Cold.
We got to figure out a better way.
There's a lot of incest going on.
It's a lot going on.
There's just a lot of roaming relationships in all of these things.
And all this is happening at the same
time? A lot
time?
of musical chairs. Maybe musical chairs
it's
is
not
better.
the same time. We did Transient and then Cold was
later.
After,
yes.
We finished Transient in September
of 22.
Yeah. Well, actually, technically October, because we did
22. It takes that long for a movie to get out.
Yeah, I mean, it took about a year in post.
Process, because of editing and everything else. Yeah.
Wow.
And Chris pretty much did everything, more or less.
Yeah. I was gonna say, like, we wore lots of hats. So you were asking about hats and stuff. So Chris did the writing, the directing, the editing, the scoring for Transient. I did I was a producer, a actress, pretty much did production design and costume design of transportation, catering in certain respects.
I did some catering too. How dare
you did some catering too. So like you end up doing, I mean, second ADing. Mm-hmm. So like you end up doing a lot of different hats.
Wearing a lot of hats, right?
You wear a lot of different hats when you're trying on no budget, or limited budget. So, so in order to get the film made, so
that's all. A lot of work goes into it. It takes time. I mean, I know that again, my experience is just with even doing my little lives, and whenever I try to open up, just editing in general, dude. Just editing in general is a whole I have ADHD, so I gotta shut everything down and do nothing, and then I gotta look at myself and freak out. So maybe we'll have to talk about maybe paying somebody to do my editing. But that's all that stuff goes into a film, and people don't understand there's a lot, and then you're also out there negotiating to try to get it distributed.
Yep, and man, we did our own distributing. I was gonna say too, and Chris sings a song in Transient, and then Greg and I sing a song in Cold. So
are you guys all trained actors or whatever? Does that mean? That I don't want to insult you, but you're SAG actors, I guess it's called.
We are eligible, but
Sugey and I are SAG eligible actors. Am
I allowed to talk about that way? Is that I don't know how the union thing works with that acting thing.
They're fine.
Okay. We're eligible. That means that we are invited to join. We just refuse to until such time as we are forced to.
Interesting. Not a topic. I don't know anything about the union with that. I don't know how it works, but all I know is what's in the news, and writers were mad and
it was, that whole thing was a nightmare. But Sugey and I also train with Lisa Pelican at HB Studio. It's a studio up in New York, but we train online. With her, she's really great.
Our entire class is coming up to come to the premiere, so that's nice.
Very cool.
Yeah, they got tickets, and they're all gonna they're taking a flexi bus from New York.
So you guys we didn't talk about what's Cold about. Can you give me a little synopsis, or do you want to say nothing and just say, look, you'd be mesmerized by the awesomeness?
Since you haven't been on.
Oh, sure. So Cold tells a story of Carmen, who wakes up in purgatory and is given 1,000 days to fix the vehicle in her driveway, or she will be lost, destroyed.
I love it. What do you guys? So this is another dark tale, or is it?
It's a family friendly comedy for the whole.
Are you joking?
There's a dog in it. There's a really cute.
Is it
bull.
John Wick dog style kind of horror?
No. This dog. He lives.
He lives. No, he he is the comic relief of the story for the most part. So she is a Latin American woman. So there is some Spanish in the story, but yeah, she basically is a woman who has forgotten some key things about her life, and so she wakes up in a state of locked in her own mind, and she is lost. Basically, she's up against the clock, and she has to figure things out or gets lost to time.
I need to see these movies tonight. Look, by the way, I want to tell you guys something about me. I don't sleep very well. So now I'm going to want to look at these movies tonight. You need to give me a preview. I need to watch them tonight. All of them. Black Mirror, everything. I love it. I really do. I'm getting chills. Just because I love dark movies. I like kind of twisted thinking and kind of out of the box. And I'm not saying you're twisted, but I am. So I like that dark stuff.
We are all pretty twisted.
Yeah, Cold has elements of body horror, psychological. I really like the idea of bending reality. So there's some magical realism elements to it, and I also like watching people decay. So Carmen decays pretty rapidly and pretty intensely, and Sugey did a great job, with the character. So
very cool. Now, when's this movie come out, and when can we see it?
So you're going to get to see both films.
May 11th.
May 11th. So that's a twofer. So May 11th. So here's my producing. Is so basically May 11th you get a twofer. You get to get all dolled up or princed up, whatever you want to do. And we have a red carpet over at Oak Cinema. We will have basically a professional photographer. You can come and get professional photo done, get pictures with the cast and crew, and we will have some nice we're actually going to be screening some nice trailers of never before seen films that are going to be premiering soon. So you guys get like sneak peeks of that too. So like director's cut.
And who's your host?
Oh, we have hosts Austin.
Isn't Danielle? Are you guys
Danielle Hartman and Austin Green are going to be hosting. Very cool. Like that's really cool. So we have that to look forward to. But yeah, you're going to get to see Cold. You're going to get to see a Q&A with our cast. You're going to get
Where's Oak? Where'd you say the studio was?
Oak Cinema. It used to be a Regal. So if you get bored at any point in time, there's also like an arcade. So like there's that too. But you should see the films.
You would never get bored.
You would never get bored from the films. You should stay.
I'm excited
and see the films, but there is that too. And then there's Q&A. Then you get to see Transient. You get a Q&A of that. Then they're going to have an actual cast signing. So we'll have like little posters and you get to sign like that with everybody else. And one of the things that I always hate with these events is that you come to them and then you never get to actually network at them. So we actually have caked in a networking hour. So you get to actually hang out and get to meet and greet with a bunch of people if you want. If not, you get to go home. It's
very
up to
cool.
you. And we actually have a PJ Willihan's nearby too. So if you want to like keep it going for a while, you can do that too. And I also have 2 cakes because one for the movie and one for Greg's birthday because it is also Greg's birthday. So we get to sing him happy birthday.
He's 12.
Very cool. No, I mean, he looks young.
He's finally turning 12. He's finally hitting puberty.
I can't wait. I hope I get to be 5'4".
So I did this thing on just because I was bored and I went on backstage and that the thing that says your range or whatever, right? And it says you can only have a 20-year range of how old you can be. So I'm imagining what yours is like 14 to 20, 24.
I think I do 25 to 35.
All right, fair enough. But I joke about the 14. By the way, I debated on whether to shave this thing. So youth is for the young, and I'm jealous.
Keep it.
You don't think?
Good. No, I like it.
There are certain circles where I look like a terrorist. I'm sorry, I know I said it, but like TSA and things like that. No, I'm kidding.
Embrace
what
the
else
grays,
you got?
man. They're cool.
What's that?
Embrace the grays. They're cool.
I'm embracing it. This was awesome, by the way, and this is the first time I've done this. I've already got like a whole bunch of guests, and I basically said, hey, these guys did it. So, I'm like, hey, Sugey's doing it. So like, you should do it. So basically you guys are like, you're helping me prime. And I love it that you came on. What else? I mean, I want to let you guys have the last word. Was there anything else you want to say? You want to talk more? Did I get enough out of you? I know I wanted to go vulnerable, but maybe we can do another one. I don't know. Be closer to it. What do you guys got? You tired? Are you drunk? Chris?
I wish.
I wish.
No.
You're pretty close to me. I can come over and get drunk with you.
Am I tired? Yes, but that's you could ask me that any time of the day, and I'd probably say
I'm with you on that. By the way, did it go out to all of your feeds and stuff like that? Did it work
Sure.
the way we thought it would?
Oh.
No, I tried to do it for Facebook and YouTube, but it discriminated against us on YouTube.
It did me too, by the way. I started that after hours thing, and I was like, I'm going to have a whole new different brand. It was like, nope, you can't do anything. You don't have enough history with us. So, but it went out to all my other stuff. I'll probably do some edits and clean it up a little bit, but this has been great. I don't really have more to say other than this was awesome. You guys gave me a chance coming on here. This is my first time doing this thing where I'm not really talking about politics and ranting and bitching and moaning about things I hate. But for those who still like that, you can always find me on Smashing the Party. You guys want to talk about your social media links and just say where people can find you? And also where I can post them under this thing. I'll spam the hell out of this. I will boost this if you're okay with it. I'm going to probably boost this pretty hard to push my first show. So let's get your social media if you want. Go ahead and give a shout out for whatever you guys got.
Sure. So you can find me on Instagram at Miss _Sugey, SUGEY _Cruz. You can also find me at Roaming Shadow Productions on YouTube.
I'll put links in after this. Cool.
And those are probably the best ones.
Is that for everybody? Chris, you guys got ones you want to do shout outs, or are you guys good with that?
That's good.
I'm at bdoc511 on.
I saw you.
See, I didn't want to sound like that. That's why
Instagram.
I wonder who P-Doc was.
You can just type in Greg Poppa, Poppa, and I will come up.
I love your typing.
I followed all of you guys on the social media.
Like the David typing.
It's the musical cat. What is that?
Yeah. I used to be Real Nate Dogg for like years, and like I was like, I'd tell people, "What's your handle?" Like Real Nate Dogg, and it's like, dude, the professional world just like shut that down. So,
well, everyone keeps telling me
I know you're a Brian Dawkins fan or something.
I am a Brian Dawkins fan. He's my favorite player.
I don't know football. That's all I know.
So I got him up on my wall here, and everyone keeps trying to tell me to change it, and they're like, "Oh, you're never gonna blah blah blah," and I'm like, "Listen, Ryan Reynolds doesn't have his name in his thing, and he's huge, and I don't care. I don't,
No one's gonna know you by
your
handle.
Thing, and I'm not gonna change it for anyone.
I like it. I support it. I'm gonna push it. I'm gonna talk about it. I'm gonna say this is the real deal.
Yeah.
He's a Brian Dawkins fan. I don't know anything about football, but follow Greg Poppa.
Thanks, Nate Dogg.
No problem, brother. Hey guys, seriously, thank you so much for taking the time. I'm gonna end the stream, and like I said, I really appreciate it. I'll share this throughout all my stuff. You guys are awesome for giving this, and I hope that. Well, I'm coming to your preview, right? I assumed you said you.
Yes.
I take it personally. I don't get invited to our things. I'm gonna have to
You're
make
friends. Everyone,
bring your friends.
I'll bring my friends. All right, I got it.
Friends make friends and bring them here.
I got it. We're gonna do that.
We gotta drink some champagne on the red carpet.
Everyone's coming. I'm gonna make everybody come in Lancaster. We're all gonna be there.
Now everyone's gonna come. I love it.
All right. Thank you. Thanks everybody. Have a good night. Make sure. Listen. Get some real wine in that cup, Chris. I don't know what you're drinking, but whatever you started with, put some real stuff in there. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. See you guys.